Okay, so last couple we talked about setting the ways to build a program, how to build your foundation, how to set the proper order. So to recap that real quickly, most people they'll start with how, so sets, reps, exercises, but they don't know exactly what it is they're trying to get. More importantly than that, they don't know their why, what their motivation is, their long-term reason for doing what they're doing. So we talked about that. We talked about making sure that we have a very clearly defined and motivating why it is that we're doing what we're doing. Longevity for you have duty obligation to your family to be the best you that you can be for them. So that's my why. Then we have a what, specifically what we're trying to accomplish. So, physical balance, mental balance, overall fitness, making sure that you're addressing the different things that are going to allow you to move comfortably, strongly, and do everything that you want to do for the remainder of your life, right? Making sure those golden years are actually golden and we're not limping and gimping around. So now we start to talk about the how, specifically what it is that we're going to do to achieve those specific, well-defined vision of what it is that we're trying to accomplish. So now when we're doing that, the specifics, the very specific things are going to change depending on where you're going from. It's like a roadmap. Give me directions. Well, where are you starting from and where are you going to? So we have the where we're going to with our defined what, but now we have to know where we're coming from, where we're starting from. So you're going to have to do some specifics in terms of figuring out where you are in terms of your endurance, in terms of your flexibility, in terms of your strength, in terms of any kind of a training limitation that you may have. You may have an old injury that you still need to do some rehab on, strengthen that particular area, or a medical condition or whatever. So we need to learn how to work, through that, work around it. So that's going to change on that. And everybody has a different body type too, and people have different metabolisms, and people have different things that are going to be assets and be liabilities within their training. So somebody who's not done anything for a long period of time may have a significant amount of atrophy. They may have lost a lot of muscle mass. They may naturally be thin and they may look decent, but physically they have no strength, no balance, and a lot of the other markers are going to be off. So with somebody like that, our focus is going to be different than somebody who might be slightly overweight or even significantly overweight, but because of their natural body tendencies, they're going to gain muscle a whole lot quicker. So we don't necessarily have to focus quite as much on hypertrophy with those guys, but we have to worry about getting our body fat down and worrying about those things. So those things are going to play a very, very significant factor in that. And again, that's going to be defined by your what is it you're going to do. So as we did before when we were looking at other things, you have to be very, very brutally honest with where it is that you're standing. There's a lot of different things out there where they'll give you basic fitness markers, basic strength markers that, they're good for a general idea. I wouldn't hold them as anything like specifically this is set in stone. So if you can't squat, 1.5 times your body weight, but you're like 1.25, it's not going to be like, oh my gosh, I have to do all my focus on squat. But you do have to worry about where you balance your flexibility. And again, if you're under muscled, that's a very vital component that you need to bring up. There's so many studies out there that show that your mental strength, your mental acuity, staving off Alzheimer's, staving off injury, staving off falls, building yourself a fortress against all kinds of different illnesses, basically is predicated on having enough muscle mass. So, and again, as we age, we tend to lose muscle. The debate is, are we doing that because of our aging, or are we doing that because of our lack of activity? I think it tends to be more lack of activity and more lack of proper diet than it has to do with just aging as a factor. That's obviously a contributing component, but I don't think that's the sole reason for it. So we have to make sure we're addressing those things. So how's it going to be a lot harder to just to define in one video. We're going to have to take a look, each individual, what their specific goals are, where they're coming from, and what they're going to. But there are two things that are going to be consistent for every single person, regardless of where you're starting and regardless of where you want to go. And that's going to be the two primary components of anything that you're going to be doing. And I'm going to put them in here in the how, because this is the underlying how you're going to achieve it. Number one is consistency, and number two is patience. A lot of times people get a false expectation of what they can expect from a specific training program. And they're going to think 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in, they're going to have this magic transformation. And when they don't get it, they're going to start looking for a different program. I got a buddy of mine who does that quite frequently, who's, hey, I was using this, it's not quite working. Well, how long have you been on it? Well, I've been doing it for like 3, 4 weeks. I'm like, well, dude, your body takes a long time to change. It's not going to be like, oh, I picked up a weight and I did, 3 sets of 15 curls, and all of a sudden I put 3 inches on my biceps. Or, hey, I ate a salad for lunch. Why don't I have abs yet? And it may seem like extreme, but there, people have that kind of weird expectation. So you need to be consistent, and you can't be a program jumper. The more program jumping that you do, the worse it's going to be for your body. There's a goofy ass principle out there called muscle confusion that they used to throw about a lot. Your body needs consistent stimulus to affect change. So jumping from program to program to program to program isn't going to work. Targeting in or programming in all these weird ass exercises where you're doing a Bosu ball squat with a hurricane bar and bands and all kinds of weird shit like that, leave that to the people who just want to get attention on Instagram. Do the basics, set the basics up, build your foundation, then we can start to add things on. So that's one aspect of it. So consistency is going to be key. Consistency is going to be 100% up to you, which goes to the next part, which is going to be patience. If you're impatient and you're inconsistent, that's going to affect your motivation. It's going to affect your outcome of every single thing it is that you're doing. So when you're looking for results, you don't see it after a couple of weeks. You start adding cheat meals in, bumping up your carbs, bumping up your junk food and all that kind of stuff. That's going to mess with your metabolism. You're going to end up gaining weight. You're going to get softer. You're going to get weaker. You're going to feel worse. And then you're going to get demotivated. Then you're going to start skipping workouts. More workouts you skip, more meals that you fuck up, and then boom, 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 boom. It's just like spiral downward. If you stay consistent and you focus on the process, fuck your feelings, follow the plan. That's probably the best thing that you can do at this point. Just fucking tattoo that on your forehead and look at it every morning. Stay with your program, stay consistent. Stay consistent with your meal prep, stay consistent with your protein goals, stay consistent with your exercises, and get them in, get it done. It's a non-negotiable. You have to be doing this. What you'll start to see is between a month to a month and a half, you're going to start to notice physical changes. You'll see your body weight going down. You'll see your muscles start to get bigger. You'll see better energy, better sleep, more sex drive. You'll see these things start to pick up. But because you're seeing yourself every day, you know how you feel every day, you're going to pick up on it a lot more quickly. Now, between, say, 2.5 to 4.5 months, people who are closest to you, they're going to start to see changes as well. They're going to start to see, your body slim down. You're going to see your clothes fitting better. They're going to see you with more energy, with a better attitude. Then the people who are more casual acquaintances over the course of like 3 to 6 months, then they're going to start to notice the changes as well. But if you're expecting people to start to notice that at the same rate that you do, and you're going to get demotivated because you're not getting that, external validation, then again, that's going to start to motivate you, or demotivate you rather. And again, this is why those first two sections of that pyramid, that why and that what, building that foundation on the how, that's why that's so vitally important, because you can check back in with, what is it I'm trying to do? And is this particular action going to be closer to what I'm trying to do? And is this particular action, is this particular thought process, is this particular, temptation to quit and not go forward, is that going to serve my why? So again, you have that motivation, you have that clear vision of where it is that you're going. And then again, that's going to make that how that much easier. Because again, if you don't have those two portions of that pyramid set first, then that's going to be a lot more difficult for you to wrap your mind around. And again, that how is going to be harder to execute. So it was Nietzsche said it, the man who has the most powerful why is going to be able to endure almost any how. So set those things in. So again, with the minutia, the specific sets and reps and exercises, that's a lot harder to define in like a general broad video like this. But again, with that clearly defined what you're trying to achieve, it's a lot simpler, it's a lot easier, because then I can go through and design a program saying, okay, we're starting from point A and we got to get to point C, or we're starting from point 1 and we got to get to point 5. So different points, different final outcomes are gonna determine the very specifics of what it is that we're trying to do there. But so in a nutshell, that's it. But again, the how that we're talking about here is vital in terms of any program that you're on. You have to be consistent, brutally consistent, and you have to be very patient. You're going to jump off track. Don't let it throw you. You're only one meal away from getting back on your diet, right? You're only one training session from getting back on your program. So if you miss one, don't do this whole thing where, oh shit, I ate a pizza on Tuesday, so I'll start again next Monday. And then you get, Tuesday through Sunday where you're just in this complete pig fest and you end up gaining 38 pounds. Or, I missed my training on Tuesday, that screws up my whole week. I'll just start my whole program again on Monday. That's nonsense. So miss a workout, chalk it up to experience, get back on track the very next workout. Miss a meal, okay, you missed one meal. It doesn't have to turn into a whole week. Consistency and patience. So that's your pyramid of what it is that you're trying to do when you're getting yourself squared away for your program. Why, what, how. Consistency, patience. Stay steady, stay strong.